Barry. Hello everyone, this is CJNovo992 and today we are back with another brand new video as Barry Ferguson continues his 1-2 combo, slapping Jose Mourinho out the Europa League to then go on to Parkhead and doing what? Clement, Beale, Gio, Gerrard, Murty, Pedro, all these managers couldn't do it, and that's gone ahead and winning his very first Old Firm matchup with a half-fit Rangers squad after 120 minutes plus. Penalties on the Thursday, they turned up on the Sunday, and for the majority of it, stroll it. And honestly, they did for a lot of it. You know what I mean? There was that period in the second half when legs went. Absolutely, it was always going to happen given what Rangers gave on the Thursday. But if you're talking about controlling a match, you're talking about stamping your authority down, and you're talking about deserving 3 points away your biggest rivals at their ground. By goodness gracious me, it doesn't get much better than that. As everything we as Rangers fans wanted to see for this game. Work rate, effort and commitment. Rangers strolled it in that department and come away with a cheeky 3-2 win at the old Parkhead. And it just goes to show you there is just nothing really like supporting this football team, because every stat, every statistic, every record, every bit of form coming in at this game suggested a very healthy win for Celtic. Again, a lot based on how we play, up, down, shaking it all about, and the way we just played on Thursday night. This was handed to Celtic, this was given to Celtic, but Rangers turned up and just absolutely rammed it down their throat, taking a 2-0 commanding lead where Celtic, to be fair to them, showed signs of fight. They came back into the game. I think a lot of that was down to tiredness. Then Barry was able to ring the changes, and wee Igaman, the wonder kid, the purple patch boy, some people was calling it, comes in and scores an absolute scream dream, which once again announces him back to the Rangers support and announces himself to the world, as Igaman has the last say and Czerny has the last spray. Now, I do realise how odd that sounds, and hopefully you do understand the reference, but just in case you didn't, as Igaman burst the back in it with an incredible goal. Czerny was sitting there looking like Stone Cold Steve Austin in the beer truck drowning Vince McMahon, but when you replace Vince with the Celtic fans who were giving him abuse and were shouting him and calling him for this, he went ahead and gave it right back, because if you give abuse, if you go after somebody, you've got to be able to take some of it right back, and Czerny gave a wee bit back, and Czerny had the last laugh on this wonderful evening, and a very surprising evening, but is it at the same time, you know what I mean? Because every time you write this Rangers team out, they come up and turn up, and every time you expect them to turn up, they didn't. They're the most predictable, unpredictable side in the world, and by God does it give our ticker a hell of a lot today. Now again, regarding the season, the message, does this change much? Obviously no, and all of our eyes, including the players' eyes, are on Europe. But what this game and what this reaction, what that performance especially does back up, is maybe vindicates a lot of what myself and a lot of people has been saying for too long. You know what I mean? I get the piss ripped out of me all the time on social media for saying there's no actually too much between Rangers and Celtic in terms of personnel and talent in the dressing room. The big difference is mentality and appetite for Scottish football. Celtic have that. It's drilled in the mentality they've got. That's why they win things. But if you pay attention to these Old Firm games, they're usually on a knife edge. Now, I know a couple's got away for us here or there, but again, a couple's went away for Celtic as well. You're usually right there in and about it, and there's been occasional VAR calls, controversial calls here or there that separates it. But again, today was a wee bit of vindication that went on any given day. This Rangers team, when they look Celtic on their eye, not only deserve to be on the park and have the same qualities, that they are also better in some areas, and they certainly were in the day. Again, appetite for Scottish football. Celtic will go on today what they need today, absolutely, but that can't be fixed. Barry in 2.5 weeks can he fix that mentality issue or that standard, that appetite? You know what I mean? He came into an absolute mess. He's had a bad result sprinkled in there as well, but there's only so much he can do at so little time. But look at what he's achieved. He has tactically outfought and defeated defeated one of the greatest managers this game has ever seen, sending the special one's ass home empty with nothing over a 2-leggy period, and in the spacey 3 days from that emotionally and physically draining night, being able to take a team that was on its knees before he came in to the building, take it to statistically the hardest place they can go, where every stat and every statistic was in the opposition's favour, and somehow, some way, he's took one of the worst Rangers teams that's ever played in Scottish football. They've got enough losing records to go ahead and show it, and somehow, some way, he's inspired that with going against them. Very first, Old Firm, not only just winning his first game that we've already mentioned in the video, or first, Old Firm, he is the first manager since Walter Smith in 1994 to win his first Old Firm that was at Parkhead. You didn't need to be Barry's biggest fan. You didn't need to be like me and have him as a hero, as a player. Or maybe you're still holding on to the Clement stuff because you wanted it to work out. You can let all that go and just appreciate what this man's done in 2.5 weeks. And that's gave us a club and a team we can be proud of. Now, I know the counter argument will be, well, haha, Celtic's still going to wait. Barry can't do nothing about that. Look at the hole that he's walked in. Look at the mess that he's come in. All we can look at is what he's able to do. And he's took a bad blow. We've seen a bad performance, but we've seen more good than bad. And I think that deserves a lot of praise. So for a guy that was mocked and they were all counting down the seconds, saying, oh, can't he wait? Oh, Barry, bring him here. Can't he wait till he gets to Parkhead? Well, he's still waiting now, because he's went there with a half-fit team and a physically drained Rangers squad and ran all over the pending champions in this league. That shows you what he can do, and no one's laughing about him and his orange car and all this stuff anymore. He's just strolled it in there and had the Rangers team basking all over and physically outworking. That's inspiration. That is driving. That's something I can get behind, and something I'm very thankful that I get to be happy that my hero's able to go ahead and do that, baby. But it's not just the manager, and I would love to sit and talk about him all damn day. You know that I would, by the way. I have actually texted my dad and asked him if he's forgave him for not signing my sticker book. It's still, I know, but maybe a European run and a European trophy can come in here and turn my dad around. I'll keep these updated, but we're not just going to talk about Barry, because some of these players were absolute ridiculous, and again, ran the show at Parkhead. And you can start in multiple areas. I mean, you can look at the goalkeeper. Jackie B, for instance, is someone that we've had to criticise a lot, like a lot of the players this season, but this season especially for Jack, he has been poor. But you talk about confidence, you talk about inspiration, you talk about feeling good about yourself. He was the penalty hero on Thursday, and now he got the assist in an Old Firm in the 90th minute to go ahead and win that game as well. That is sensational. It wasn't just the ball at his feet, which is usually a bit of a lotto, but it's also the way he saved shots, and he was big, and he won a vital slide challenge on my era we'll talk about, won a couple on rushing stuff that he needed. He was brilliant. He solidified that back line. He's not punching things in at the back in it. He's been back to his commanding best, and that bled going forward because his spine was there. I thought Soapy was great. Again, a couple of times my era got by him, but that guy's literally the roadrunner. Meep. Shooters like that, where the hell did he go? Sometimes it's hard to keep up with him. He's always going to use his pace. But again, he's just back for injury. And look at the Titan performance he's put in the last 3 weeks. And then you step up ahead of him. And that's where I'm going to go next. And that's where I'm going to spend the next couple of minutes of your day, ladies and gentlemen. And our day by talking about this Rangers midfield. You know what I mean? You've got the likes of Connor Barron, just back for injury, being brilliant. He was out on his feet 3 days ago, yet still able to do what he done, nipping, winning all those interceptions. You had Diomandes, who we spoke about in yesterday's preview video, where I did a wee mistake, by the way, and actually mentioned 12 players because I forgot about the centre back. But we said this could be Dio's day because he's kind of freed up a little bit, and it suits more of his game, this new formation that Barry's working. You know what I mean? No trying to work and force players into a formation and a style of football that's never going to work. He's actually looked at what he's got, and he's choosing a formation based on the players he has. It's true management after all. And Diomandes was sensational in this game as well, but it's the one in the middle that I really want to talk about. Right, praise for Barron, praise for Dio, absolutely, love it. Love the old celebration as well. I'm sure Ryan Kent was walking up and doing his Gearden with his alligator on a leash, smiling at Diomandes doing his celebration. But it's the wee Belgian in the middle, and it's the best Belgian in Scottish football
I want to talk about. And I think a lot of people that's watched this channel for a long time will know this is coming, but it's been hard being an Nico fanboy. It's been hard standing by him for so long, because it has went the long route and it certainly took its time. But this guy, man, he's just outrageous, you know what I mean? When it clicks, he is so damn good. And you're talking about the likes of Barron, you're talking about the likes of Dio, with everything they've given, how much ground they cover and all that work hard. They've got substituted off. Well, Dio did early on in the game as well, but who never? We Raskin, still running, 90th minute, doesn't matter, every minute, every game, every minute, this guy just gives everything. And in a couple days spell where he got his first international call-up for Belgium, alongside the likes of Kevin De Bruyne and the likes of Tielemans, who's doing well for Aston Villa, you had a guy that is Belgian as well, that wasn't called up and is worth $11 million. And there seems to be this weird comparison. Who is better, Engels? It's not even a conversation for me. And when people bring it up, it's clear that they only look at stats and statistics, because Pengels is on every penalty. I should call them Pengels. Engels, but Bengals as well. He's on the penalties, so he's always going to take that. But if you're talking about a midfield player, it's underlined who the best Belgian midfielder is in this country, because a midfielder's not just scoring and assisting, it's dominating and it's controlling. And I think Engels had the opportunity today to stamp on and show what he was worth with foot. Callum McGregor being there, but he was none in the game, didn't impact the game at all, whilst Raskin ran every single aspect of it. And to add insult to Celtic's injury, not only did he dominate the game with interceptions and tackle and be the best midfielder on the park, he also answered the criticism with some goals and assists as well, for brilliant headed goal, mirror-ass, closer-esque, and then the gorgeous assist. So you got the stats to please the stat lovers, but the yins that watch the game and appreciate the game, Raskin's just absolutely outrageous in any comparison, any debate's long over. Just look at the games, and I think as a Celtic perspective, you will look at Engels now, and again, the 11 million, is he worth that? Obviously no, but he's overpaid because of the Matt O'Reilly tax, you know what I mean? Just like Spurs all the years ago when he sold Bale and he spent all that Capu and Lamela and ridiculous money going everywhere. They've done that with Engels as well. He's no an 11 million pound player. He's not even as good as Callum McGregor, you know what I mean? And I see a lot of people say, well, Celtic only lost because Callum McGregor wasn't playing. Callum McGregor was playing in January and he got his pants pulled down by Barami, of all people, you know what I mean? But again, to give credit to that, McGregor probably underline his importance to the Celtic squad, because Engels is nowhere near the answer to the replacement of Callum McGregor. Couldn't lace his boots, and again, Raskin for the second Old Firm in a row has faced off against Engels, has faced off against McGregor, and who's came out on top? It's the little Belgian. And that's what we've got to talk about. Love it. Love his performance. Love his effort. Love the way he goes about his business. He's just everything I like in a player. It was a similar why I was a big fan of Jacko and etc. etc. The type of players that maybe didn't get on the stat sheet a lot. Won't come up in your highlight reels, but you watch these games, man, you've got to appreciate that. Anybody that Disney come out and say that Raskin's a good player now is just blinded by their own hatred, because he underlined it in the biggest stage and the biggest spectacle you can have in Scottish football, and that is an Old Firms, and he's ran the show in back-to-back games, and again, he even got that extra adage of a goal and assist. So he was absolutely sensational, and I think if you look at that spine, the midfield, Soapy and then Butland, that's what Gerrard installed all these years ago, a spine that can go toe-to-toe with Celtic. That's why we had a good run against Celtic, and now we've finally got that again, or Barry's found a way to get that, and we've seen it in the last two games. But there is one last player that I want to talk about, and I know this is extremely long, so I'll try and keep it quite short, which is ironic, consider who we're going to speak about. It is Mr. Ridvan Yilmaz, or the Turkish Delight, as I'm going to call him tonight, because this guy drives me mental, and I think a lot of people know that, right? But this guy's on some kind of revenge tour against Celtic, because after what happened in the cup final, his two best performances by far have came in these Old Firm games. One of them was in January when he played against Maeda and made him look bang average, quieting him down. Maeda's worst game ever against Rangers was lining up against Ridvan Yilmaz, and this time he was put back to the left wing back, because obviously there was a personal reason for Jeff to hopefully everything's fine in there as well. But Ridvan was up there, and he's against arguably the best player in Scottish football in terms of Nicholas Kuhn, especially for the first 5-6 months of the season. But what I will say, and the best way I can summarise this, is that's the best you can see a full-back play. See the way Ridvan played today, and I know we've been spoiled by Tavernier and all side scoring and assisting, and that guy's an absolute hero.
Pedro, right? The ridiculous nature he's done. That's gave us a false idea of what a fullback is and how good a fullback can play. You look at Ridvan Yilmaz in this game, that's as good as a fullback can play. That's as good as it gets, because Nicholas Kuhn, who was the best player in Scottish football for a lot of months this season, was absolutely terrified of taking that wee guy on, and he ended up getting substituted off at half-time. That's the pinnacle, and I wanted to give Ridvan Yilmaz a bit of respect. And if you stay for the game recap, there'll be a lot of attacks started from him. His interceptions, his work rate, his nipping. Not only again bullying Kuhn, but then pinning Johnson back. That left-hand side pretty much running the show himself. I thought he was absolutely excellent. He drives me crazy, and I know in the next game when I see him play, he'll honestly make me greyer with the amount of shots and that, but you've got to give praise, and by God, he was great today, and he just epitomised everything I thought Rangers today. It was just the belief, it was the work rate, it was the commitment, but it was almost the lack of respect that we gave Celtic, for a better word. And maybe I'm not explaining it right, but we've went into games with like Gio where we've sat off, and even Clement and some of them have sat off and we gave space, but Barry just told these players to get stuck in and dive into the ball, get stuck in, let's see if they want it. And that's what you had for everybody, that midfield free, and we Ridvan nip, and then you had Sterling on the other side bullying and all that as well, and he obviously had a big moment in the game of football as well. It was just everything I want to see for a Rangers team. It was committed, it was working hard, but it also showed no fear, and that is what these games can be won on. And that's what we were. We were back to being fearless. We were back to showing them no respect, and that's the way, and that's the blueprint to win these games. As Celtic couldn't get near us despite fresh legs, despite all that, despite Engels costing not only more than our midfield that played today, but Engels cost more than our entire midfield department at our club. Let that sink in, you know what I mean? You talk about, oh, McGregor's missing everything like that, well, you still had players that's worth more than our entire midfield department at the football club, so there's no excuses, there's none of that. There is nothing that can be said. Two teams went out in the park the day one team deserved to win, and that was Rangers Football Club. Late winner or no, it was there to be seen. But I'm just happy we won, you know what I mean? I talked about that yesterday. It wasn't going to be the end all be all, and it doesn't drastically change your season, but I'm wearing a smile tonight, and I think a lot of other Rangers fans will do. So I won't get to the game recap because you're going to hear about other players, you're going to hear other names, and there's certain goals we need to go ahead and talk about. But you could just tell there was a difference for the very first kick. The football, we didn't drop off, we never played it backwards, we went right after the throat and we had them pinned in their back line. We had a free kick brilliantly won by Diomandes, wee quick skill in and around the box, or just outside the box I should say, to win us a free kick in the first 20 seconds. So you're getting them singing, you'll never walk alone, you're getting them doing this, and then you're getting them like that switched, and that's the difference, you know what I mean? When you let them build and you let them orchestrate, and you give the likes of McGregor when he's fit 15-yard space, and you let all that play out, that all just plays and plays, and that's why they ran all over us. That's who they've got, they fast starts, but we never let it happen. They were still singing their song, and we had a free kick to put in their box, and it just kills the mood as it gets nerves pumping. Now, unfortunately, we never got anything from that as Schlopp hit it out for a corner kick, but again, from the corner, we're adding some threat again, and then we end up winning another corner for there, and then you're talking about in the first 2 to 3 minutes of the game, Tavernier whips it in, and Raskin again, just like he did in January with a header that ended up resulting in the proper goal. The best Belgian in this country, beautiful header, cushioned it, looked like Miroslav Klose burying it into the breadbasket, and it's 1-0 to Rangers, and all the hype, all the momentum, all the excitement that was built up for singing their song is gone and ripped away, and Rangers are the team with the momentum, and Rangers have the belief. But before we talk about the moment from Journey, and we will get there and everything like that, there is 2 moments I didn't want people to overlook, and I think this was the confidence builder for Butland, because about the 7th, 8th minute, there's a wonderful ball played by, I think it's McCowan, in behind to Maeda, spins away, you know what I mean? The boy's fast, you know what I mean? It's like Barry Allen looking out there, and unfortunately Soapy, who's not a slouch, has just caught a bit slack, but Butland is sharp, he's on it, he's not what he was a couple months ago, or even a couple games ago. He's got that boost for Thursday, so he gets out there and does a brilliant bit of goalkeeping to get the ball to stop Maeda going ahead and getting it, and then we calm it doing for there. And then Celtic are always going to have a period in the game, they do get it, they give it to Hatate. Hatate's very good at shooting, puts it loose to be in a breadbasket, but the fingertips of Butland saves it right there. And it was at that moment I went, right, Sutton's a wee bit different. Butland is confident, and when Butland's confident, I start getting some confidence. The defence starts getting confidence, and you could see Rangers winning those duels. And that's when Barron, that's when Raskin, and that's when Dio was just influencing the game. And that doesn't come up in your stat sheet or your goals and assists. Aye, but look how many goals and assists this guy's got. That's the baller. Me, watch games, football, and look what these laddies are doing. The amount of times they get us in good positions that maybe didn't result in a goal, but it's based on the press, it's based on this new shape, and it's based on the new belief that we can go after this team at their ground. Now the goal ends up, the next big chance I should say comes to Cherny. It should have resulted in a goal as we're putting on pressure. Again, Raskin's been knitting, Barron's been nipping, so Celtic aren't comfortable on the ball. They've not had that wee 10 minutes to see themselves into the game. The ball goes back to Kasper Schmeichel, who I said doesn't make too many mistakes, but his head was scrambled. He passes it right to Cherny, and I'm going, hit it! Hit it! He's got to hit it! He's got to hit it! And then he runs, and he runs, and he runs, and he swapped his bets with big Cyril Dessers as he takes 48 touches, and Disney score an open goal. That's got to be buried, ladies and gentlemen, and I just wonder what society would be like if we just scored these clear-cut goal-scoring opportunities that we waste versus Celtic. They never seem to waste them. We do a lot. Cherny ends up going round the goalkeeper, tries to pass it back to Dessers. It's horrific. He's just got to shoot, but again, he's not got that confidence on his right foot. And honestly, it didn't look fit for the majority of the game, but that's maybe mentality. Maybe he just wanted to be a part of the game, and I think his celebrations after it shows he's truly been bitten by this club. But what a chance, and I couldn't help but think and go back to the cup final when we had that opportunity. You know which one I'm talking about, to put the nail in the coffin of Celtic, and I thought, oh God, because Celtic bounced up for that. They had some confidence, but again, credit to Rangers, despite the roars, despite the G-up. Raskin, Barron, Dio, Raskin, Barron, Dio, Ridvan, Raskin. That's what it was every time they tried to go forward. Our midfield / left wing back said nah. Now almost fittingly, Balogun in the 26th minute, the same number of his shirt, gets close with a header that nearly goes in, ends up bouncing off Engels and forces a very good save for Schmeichel. That was close, but from the same counter-attack, they bombed the ball forward, and maybe a bit that again will be forgotten about, that nobody's even talked about, nobody's even tweeted about, is from that corner, they counter us. Jota's got Sterling on a 1v1 almost. He takes him on, and Sterling just brings him down and accepts his yellow card lovingly, and that's what Barry's talked about in pressers. That's what we as fans have talked about. We've not hurt people like that. We've not just nailed people and stopped attacks. I'm not saying go out and hurt players or anything, but just being smart, not being Mr. Nice Guy all the time. Just take Jota down there, take your yellow card, and stop any potential bleeding to that attack. And that is something again that Barry stressed, being ugly and willing to accept these yellows. Well, there's a clear example of it, and I'm thankful, because if Jota doesn't get brought down there, he's got Maeda wide open to run through and possibly score, and that was big for Sterling. And again, nobody is talking about it. They're mostly talking about his second effort, which didn't worry. We'll get there. But before we get there, we have a cheeky wee goal to talk about, and the way that it's built up and the way that it happens is just everything I love about football, right? Because it's not just skill and beautiful putting the ball in the back of it, it's that grit, it's that work rate, it's that commitment, and it starts with Ridvan Yilmaz, right? Around about the 37th minute or around that period, they try and play the ball back out. Again, we're setting our traps, they're too scared to go in the middle because Raskin's bullying Engels, he's not getting a kick the football, so he tries to play a ball to Kuhn. Ridvan just bursts out of nowhere, you know what I mean? Bang, bang, wins the ball, puts the pressure. To be fair, Carter Vickers does a vital challenge on him, or Ridvan's got an opportunity to pick out Cyril Dessers. But from there, you're taking a comfortable Celtic attack to Rangers having a throw high up the park. We throw it, we switch it to Tav. Tav plays it into wee Raskin. Raskin, again, Ways header drops it to the chesticles of Diomande, who brings it down and just buries it into the back of it and gives it the old Ryan frickin' again. And that brings joy to this old grey hat. Phenomenal goal, but again, I love it, and the blueprint is there. It's meeting them at the half time and not having this inferiority complex when we go to Parkhead. Who cares what part we're going? Get stuck in. That's what Barry's drilled in to these players. And just look at what we're getting. 2-0 up, and we deserve to be free, if not more, up at this time. Now, this is generally normally what happens the opposite way. We've seen it time and time again at Parkhead, but we have took the advantage. We have took that. But again, after that goal, there's always going to be that period in the game. Again, it's emotionally draining. We're physically exhausted after Thursday. Celtic's always going to grow into the game of football. Jota goes on to the left-hand side, finally gets a pass, by the way, to him. He takes on Sterling, gets down, has a shot that ends up going out for a corner, even though he just hit the side net and it was never corner. Referee got that one wrong, but from the resulting corner, there's a nearly, there's a maybe, and then eventually the ball goes out wide. They cross it to Maeda, cushion header, it's gone in, and Big Dujon chucks the big musters at it and clears it off the line with the best bit of defending I've seen all season. And we talk about players coming in, we talk about guys needing to make momentum, we talk about guys needing to make moments. Well, that is Dujon Sterling's moment in the Old Firm, you know what I mean? Because they'll talk about, oh, this guy's no played a lot of football for Celtic, or this guy's came in, or we're missing that. We miss guys all the time. It's about taking the biggest stage and grabbing your moment, and that bit of defending for Sterling is a game winner. Because I think if we go in 2-1 at half-time with them scoring just before half-time, I think it drastically changes everything in the game. And I'm saying that despite what happened in the second half, I can't go and look at that bit of defending for Sterling and think, because honestly, it's ridiculous. And the first half ends with the celebrations of the Rangers fans in the corner of the stadium, despite Leon Balogun doing his third risky pass of the game. By the way, Maeda's fast, lads. Stop playing silly balls. But again, even Butland winning that, nobody's talking about it. No one's wanting to talk about it. But go back and watch it. 44th minute of the game. Stick it back on. Watch Balogun's back pass. It's horrific. And Jack Butland does a slide challenge on Maeda that if he misses, it's a goal. Or if he misses the ball and connects with the man, he's getting sent off and it's a penalty. Just wee moments like that that's often overlooked and doesn't come up in highlight packages can really win you a game. And I'm giving Jack Butland the praise for that, because I was quick to criticise him when he was making mistakes, so I'm going to be here as quick to praise him when he's doing things right. Brilliant way to end the first half, and we go in 2-0 up and we're all like, by God, I wish it was 90. And now unfortunately the second half did really get away from us, and I think a lot of that was down to the change. Jota went out to the right where he's no got that fear, he wasn't terrified. Ridvan, just like Nicholas Kuhn was, you know what I mean? Jota ends up taking Ridvan on the very first time, chips it to the back post. Maeda's no longer up front now, he's moved to the left where he's against Tavernier, so you know exactly where we're going to go next. A ball to the back post where Maeda beats Tav, you know what I mean? It's like the most consistent thing in the world, and I'm sick of seeing it. But how is he beating Tav in the air? You know what I mean? Wonderful ball for Jota and everything like that, but it's so infuriating because I want to praise Tav, and I think for a lot of the game he was very good, but it's like the second Maeda goes 1v1 with him, he loses and gives a goal at the back post, and I go, Jesus man, change the record, James Henry, change the record. And I'll be honest, I felt my nappy, you know what I mean? Because they scored right after that, the crowd's gone mental, we're starting to be a bit slack on the ball, we're looking leggy, and it just seemed to be a matter of when Celtic would score the next goal, not if. And they had a couple opportunities, you know what I mean, couple of dangerous balls in the box. Balogun does very well, but then goes down with an injury. That boy just ran himself out another calf, possibly. Again, hopefully he was willing to harvest my organs, because you can have whatever you want, Leon, if you're able to play like that. But then comes Big Proper, you know what I mean, and I could sense the nerves, and you could feel the nerves for people looking at Proper come on and be like, oh no, here we go. But I actually think Proper's played pretty well versus Celtic, if I'm honest, you know what I mean? One mistake maybe early on in the season, but I think it was the first Old Firm game, but apart from that, he's been very, he's physical, and he had his moment as well. He came into the game and had a very big moment as around about the 66th minute. Dio's then went off, Hadji's come on, but he's no up to speed yet. McCowan's hit a ball just wide. The right hand side of Rangers is truly bleeding. It's like they're running in sand, but they're spent. There's nothing left for the team, right? And we end up doing another, I think it's a ricochet actually. It looks like it's gone right through on, I think it is Maeda or it might be McCowan. I can't remember the exact person it rotates to, but all I remember is Big Robin Proper coming in here with everything that he's got, and that is an all or nothing. Again, just like Butland, if he misses it and mistimes it, he's red carded and this game's gone. But brilliant challenge for Big Proper, especially considering he's been on the park maybe 3 minutes, touched the ball twice. To have that timing a tackle is brilliant. Now I know 5 minutes later he gets booked for nailing Maeda, but we've all got to do things now and again. It got the challenge that he needed to get right, and that is a moment to take in the biggest game, in the biggest stage. But again, they were building, and really I was screaming out for subs, especially on the right hand side. You know what I mean? I gave Czerny a lot of praise, and I love his commitment, I love his attitude, but the guy was blowing and he was towing a caravan. It was a complete liability, because you then had Sterling needing to go further out, then you had Tavernier needing to go further out, and then you had Raskin having to come further out, or to counter the lack of what Czerny was able to do in this game. Is clearly he was knackered. Now, he had some nice moments in the ball and everything like we will talk about it, but it was just a bit unbalanced, and I was screaming on social media for either Igaman or Danilo to come in and play that second striker role, and Igaman eventually did come on the park before the Moroccan prince did. However, unfortunately, Celtic went ahead and scored in the game, but it was coming. Like I said, we were just knackered, we were done in, we were dusted. If we had a full week to prepare, I didn't see Celtic getting back into this game. I truly didn't, because I felt like everything was gone right, but it just started to tire, and everybody, I think it's fair, can go ahead and see that our tiredness gave Celtic the opportunity to come back in. They had the extra step, they were fitter, they were sharper, they had more time to prepare, and they end up passing through us again. Beautiful ball, I think it's again by McCowan, by the way, slipping a ball into Hatate, and Hatate, who went close 5 minutes prior with a shot that was brilliantly saved by Butland from a drop-in corner, ends up putting it away, and Barron can't get there. Guys, again, blowing their knacker. It's 2-2, and every single one of us thought the same thing. Where's the subs? We're through this away. The subs then come on, you're glancing in and being like, could we have not made that 5 minutes ago? But the subs were eventually made, and then again, it's on the players. Did they care enough? Did they want enough? What have they got up here? And to be fair, as criticised as a Rangers side ever has been, as poor as they've been domestic as they have, all the losing records, every right, every reason, every excuse to possibly collapse and fail in this game, this Rangers team stood up again mentally, just as they did on Thursday. And I can't help but give that credit to the freshness of the management team and the way that Barry conducts himself, the way Barry drills them into the players. And aye, you could just sense that maybe, just maybe, if we got a chance, we could go ahead and take it. And the chance came, ladies and gentlemen, after attack from Celtic. We end up doing a quick counter-attack. The ball goes to Dessers, but he doesn't believe in himself to take on Carter Vickers again. I think it's that up there as well. He just doesn't fancy his chances. It's really poor for him, but the ball drops to Czerny. Beautifully picks out Barrett, and then Barrett scuffs it, and I'm going, oh, there's the chance. You're never getting a bigger chance of that. He's got to either hit the target or bust the back of the net, but it falls to maybe the only player he didn't want to fall at 10. You're thinking, well, we've had our chance now. It's all about Celtic now. It's all going to be Celtic. And again, they huffed and they puffed, but they couldn't blow Big Barry's house right down. And there is one name that I'm going to mention before it becomes the Eggman Love Fest, and that is Clinton Nasala. His story has been told recently, you know what I mean? Really great. Everyone's saying he's a left-footed Van Dijk. Well, one person did in the changing room, and then it blew up and it became a meme. Then he had 2 bad games, then he was bombed out, and he's the worst player on the planet. But because of injuries, because of fitness, because of this, we've had to shuffle the decks, and a guy that was last seen getting subbed off after 20 minutes of playing horrifically comes in to the Lions' Den, if you know, and ends up making a vital defensive movement in the 83rd minute as he just gets a toe to it as the ball comes in from Maeda. Tav Slater, he's let him get away. It's a ball to the back post. It looks like it's fallen right to Johnson, but Big Clinton's left toe just does enough to bounce it up on the knee, and it goes away for Johnson. And that is it. That is sometimes it. That's what could dictate a game. Either you're onside by this, offside for this, the ball is this out, this in, or sometimes you just get a wee nick on the ball that changes the trajectory slightly. And I want to give Big Clinton that, because we talked about Carter Vickers with his challenge versus Tillman, what was it, a year and a bit ago, when he just got a toe on it right when it was 1-0, and it could have been 2, should have been 2, but we lost that game by that. Well, for me, we won it by that, and that gave us the platform to go on and be what we did. And I've been building, because not only did I scream a noise that I never even thought I could get to, you know what I mean? You talk about high octaves, you talk about glass shattering, I don't know the level of pitch I reached at my scream, but I can't tell you how much I loved every minute. Big Jackie Butler, you know what I mean? For all the, we're doing this is our style of play under Clement, it needs to be this, it needs to be building up for the back, all this crap. What is it? that wins us this game. Just a big long ball up top, right? And to be fair, Dessers does well here to battle. He sucks in. Carter Vickers didn't do it. Ladies and gentlemen, he comes in like that. It gives the space. It bounces there. Both of them. And then it goes all to Igamanes, who brings the ball down. You know what I mean? The ball hog. The guy that's no interested. The purple patch kid, as some people were mocking on social media. But he turns in to that right foot and just unleashes a ridiculous effort that's worthy of winning any game of football, especially the pinnacle is Scottish football, and the wee Moroccan prince goes ahead and wins it. And honestly, I was in dreamland, because I'm seeing the guy, that champion, constantly score the winner. I'm seeing Barry Ferguson go and do what all these other managers, the last 14 managers, all these years we couldn't do, go and win the first Old Firm and go ahead and win back-to-back Old Firms and going ahead and score 6 goals in our last 2 Old Firms. It's tremendous, ladies and gentlemen, and that's what football can give you sometimes. The pandemonium, the spraying of Cherny, everything you could want, ladies and gentlemen. It was a perfect end to what was the majoritively perfect from Rangers, despite a period where again we were out on our knees. But considering where we were, what we had gave on Thursday, and how in depth we are in terms of our rotation, injuries and people unfit, that's about as good as you get. And I'm giving all the players all the praise in the world. What a way to send us in to the international break. Go and rest up, go and spend time with your families, as that's an incredible 2 games. Aye, we can't fix the mistakes of our season. Aye, we can't change and undo the spilled milk. All we can do is move forward. But what I'm seeing in such a 2-week period is a togetherness that I never saw previously in the Rangers team, and I just want to see it to the end of the season. Hopefully we go on a gorgeous European run. Hopefully we do alright domestically, just win, keep that momentum building, keep that confidence to take that in to these games in Europe, and then whoever is taking over at the end, Barry's reign, picks up a squad that's going to have young players in there with vital experience, but vital confidence and belief in their abilities that they can beat Celtic, they can do this, and you take that into next year, bringing in other personalities, other leaders that we need in that dressing room. It's not the same 11. I'm not saying keep it all for next year. There are clear changes that needs to be made, but there's stuff that can be installed and experiences that can be learned for these young players, and it comes for games like that. That'll do the world of good to so many of the young laddies in that dressing room, and I'm absolutely buzzing with it, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be sleeping with a big smile on my face that a lot of people was waiting to not see the Old Firm. Now hopefully they're here again doing, you know what I mean, because they can laugh, they can mock, they can take the piss, but can they take it back? We'll see, ladies and gentlemen. But that's it. 3-2 to Rangers. Fully deserved. Brilliant effort for the players. Let me know your man of the match down in the comments section below. Let me know your thoughts on the game, and let you know the thoughts on the old Barry Ferguson. For me, Raskin was the man of the match, but again, there was a lot of other candidates up there for me. Fully deserved. 3 points for Rangers. We'll go into the international break with a smile on our face. Can't wait to see the comment section. But until then, I've been CJ992. Thank you so much for watching. All the best. And bye.